All right, see you back on this stage. Right now, we have a new topic and a new event track. Finally, we are now going to focus on the topic of Metaverse. Well, a topic which everybody is talking about now, but to be honest, many still don't fully understand it yet. And this is the reason why we would like now to shed some light on this and have 3 short and concise keynotes ready for you inspired by the speed dating format. And our first speaker is one of the most famous personalities in the Metaverse bubble, Diego Borgo. Diego is Metaverse native, Web3 ambassador, NFT collector, and advisor to Fortune 500 brands Metaverse native. He helped Adidas bring into the Metaverse to life and firmly believes in the huge potential for brand building. His personal mission is to help mainstream adoption of blockchain and NFT technology. And today in his short keynote, Diego will talk about how brands should enter the Metaverse and NFT space and discuss the ins and outs of the Metaverse and the NFT space and all the opportunities reserved for brands in this new exciting space. And if everything has worked out technically, you should now hear us and see us, Diego. Can you hear us, see us? I can see you on the screen. Perfect. Where are you connected from?
From Portugal.
From Portugal. What's about the weather? It's really nice there? Of course.
No, it's really bad. Don't come here.
Oh, yeah. You have to come to Germany because now the sun is shining here in Düsseldorf, Diego. So next year, perhaps we can see you here in Düsseldorf. But I would say the stage is yours, the virtual stage is yours, and feel free to start.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the intro as well. And you make my job easier by introducing myself. So we can jump straight in because, yeah, we are going here on a speed dating. And as we know, speed dating is, there is no fluff. There is no chit chat. Is straight to the point and get the most important, points across the line. So let's go. So this presentation is going to be around how brands should enter the Metaverse and NFT space. If you want to connect with me, here's my LinkedIn. You can scan this QR code, find me there. That's where I put all my content. That's where I build my community. That's where I talk a lot of the things that are on top of my mind right now. So feel free to connect. As we just got presented, I'm a Metaverse and NFT advisor for Fortune 500 brands. Those are the brands I work with. And let's talk about the Metaverse, right? So we hear the buzzwords around. We hear a lot about Metaverse is everywhere. But it's kind of like what this thing really is, right? So I want to make sure that we agree upon, first of all, that there are no experts. Metaverse, NFTs, Web3, apart from some of the technologies that have been around for a while, the whole mainstream that we're seeing around those technologies are pretty new. So I want to start off saying that I'm not an expert. I know, a lot of things out of expertise or experience or things that I've seen or done. And this is my take on what I think where we are at. So first of all, we're going to look at 4 experts and their definitions. We're going to look into what the Metaverse really is. And then we're going to look into why now and 5 things that you should know. So let's start from the experts. I got some sound bites for you to make this conversation a little bit easier.
It's a digital twin of our world, but then you can have endless amounts of worlds. Real transactions can be made and you can buy real estate, kind of like Second Life.
So that's the founder and CEO of LMG Studio, Leon MG. Now we're going to see the definition coming from Carolina Argeles, which is the group product marketing manager at Snapchat.
At Snapchat, we think about a world where computing is seamlessly overlaid on the physical world around us. The metaverse is an area where you can take and see and interact with things that are both physically in front of you and with the digital content overlay.
Very different take, very different direction, very different definition. Now we're going to see Darren Tsui, CEO at Together Labs.
It is a computer-generated simulation of a 3D space where users can interact. The metaverse will have 3 key attributes. It needs to have presence, social presence. It needs to be persistent. When users come back, there's some sort of continuity and not a reboot. And last and most important, it needs to be shared. Multiple people will need to be able to interact in the metaverse.
Very condensed, much deeper and into details description or definition of what it is. And now we're going to see the last one from Keith Stewart, game editor at The Guardian.
A platform-agnostic digital space. The metaverse is a persistent hub that is user-definable. Persistence and user-generated content will be a big part of it. The future is about reacting quickly to social situations in a metaverse world.
So I basically got those statements and utilized AI technology to bring them to life into different voices that obviously are not their voices. And the last one is Snoop Dogg, because I just found it would be funny to bring it up. So that's the way those experts are looking into it. There's very different conversations. Sometimes it makes it even harder to understand. So let's dig in on what the metaverse really is from my point of view. So the truth is that we don't know. It's very early. There's a lot of different ways in looking into that. But if I had to use a real life analogy, it would be this. The metaverse would be Disneyland. And Disneyland is a place where everything's possible. You can be anything and you can do anything. So that's what is really exciting for me about the metaverse, because we are opening up this box where everything's possible, pretty much as like in Disneyland. And then within NFTs, that will be the tickets and the passes that you get to walk in or to get access to. So think about token gated commerce, think about VIP events, think about providing to customers money can buy experiences. So that's where I think that NFTs have like a really strong and big role to play within the metaverse, exactly because of those attributes that come alongside. But on top of that, they also would represent the souvenirs, toys, and gifts you buy within the metaverse. So think about digital sneakers, digital clothing, digital wearable, digital objects, digital skins, pretty much like we have on gaming right now. So that's another way of utilizing NFT technology within the metaverse to represent ownership of digital assets. Another thing is that, even the pins and stickers that you would collect within the metaverse or the metaverse experience would be represented by NFTs. So think about digital stamps, digital posters, digital stickers. Those are all things that can be represented by NFTs. And then once you're in that space, the rides, the shops, the kiosks, your experiences, Web3. So think about decentralized websites, decentralized applications, and decentralized finance, for example. And on top of that, you have all payments and transactions being made in crypto. So yes, you have Bitcoin and Ethereum being the most well-known, but also very volatile assets. But then you also have stable coins, which can be pretty much a very simple way for brands and customers and creators to interact and transact with each other. Or you could even create a brand coin that's, for example, a Douglas coin, where that coin is specific to the brand and can be utilized by its consumers within their own ecosystem. And then if you think about what empowers everything and the operations within this space, when we go back to the Disneyland example, and the technology that powers the whole experience, that's where blockchain comes into place. So blockchain is that technology that enables the underground operation system that to work has to be pretty much like on the Disneyland, right? It has to be invisible, it has to be seamless, and it has to be safe. Meaning nobody needs to know it exists, nobody needs to know they're interacting with it, and it has to be safe so nobody gets hurt. So that's how I think, is a very one-to-one. Obviously, there's a lot of, technical concepts and parts of this overall idea that I'm living outside of this. But I hope that being a speed dating, that helps you to understand this a little bit better. So for me, the metaverse is an evolution of the internet as the ultimate bridge between our physical and digital lives. That's kind of like how I get to express that to a lot of people, because we've been spending time exponentially digitally, but we never own digital assets. There was never a motive for us to do so. And I definitely think the metaverse is going to change that and going to help us to get both lives closer to each other. And I definitely think that AR, for example, is going to play a major role on helping us to do so through AR glasses, for example. And here we're going to talk about why now, which is always a question I get asked. So let's go to 5 things that I would like you to have a look at inside of this sort of like why now the metaverse is hot, right? So the first thing is I get asked everywhere I go. It's unanimous. People are like, yeah, cool. Like this metaverse thing is cool and everything. But Second Life was already there back in the day. I remember, and it was a failure. So do you think the metaverse is a fad? And I love highlighting the aspect that Second Life has been an incredible platform for so many years, but we cannot forget that Second Life was launched in 2003, right? So timing was a big thing. The technology looked like that back in the day, and macroeconomics have shown us that we've been spending more and more time online compared to before. So if you look at this graphic of the daily time spent in the internet per capita worldwide, in 2011, we are not even going all the way back to 2003. You can see the amount of exponential time that we are spending within the digital world, right? So for me, those three pillars are essential to understand why the metaverse is more and more exciting now, even though it's been around for a while. The second thing is consumer behavior, right? Like a lot of people ask me, like, does the Gen Z even care about this thing? Like, are they even there? So it's interesting to look at this research from VPulse, a survey that they've done with the Gen Z, looking into the difference between Gen Z and millennials. So does Gen Z cares more about virtual avatars than millennials? And if you look at the graphics and the comparison, it definitely does so, right? Gen Zs have created more avatars in video games. Gen Zs have created more avatars on social media, and they even have followed more, avatars on the social media space. So that's an interesting stat to look at. And then what about digital reality? Is Gen Z spending more time within digital reality than millennials? And you see as well, both trends, right? They hang out more often with their friends in virtual reality and gaming, and they also have utilized virtual reality headsets more than millennials. And then we get to the third point, which is about digital goods, right? Do they buy digital goods? Do they purchase virtual goods? And here you can see that the difference isn't that large in the first highlighted bucket on purchasing digital goods. So the difference, they're almost paired. But then what it becomes really interesting is the cryptocurrency and NFT aspect, where majority or a bigger chunk is on the millennial side, where either there are two things here, right? Either they don't care about it, or there's a huge opportunity because they are coming and will start caring more about it. So we need to interpret it and understand that behavior. But apart from that, everything you can see that, is a clear evolution of that sense. And then if you look at the third step, there is a huge evolution of the web, right? We moved from Web 1, where we were just able to consume within the internet like a newspaper. And then we evolved that to Web 2, where creation became a thing. So now we are able to create and share, and creator economy was born. And now we move into another evolution of the internet on top of Web 1 and Web 2, where we are able to own the items, to own the data, to own everything we create around ourselves. So it's really exciting from a technology standpoint. And then also, if you look from a community and decentralization perspective, we are shifting the model from consumers to creators, right? To co-creators. So this example you see on the picture is very cool, because this is a project that was created under the umbrella of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, where instead of like people just buying a Bored Ape and keeping it, they're co-creating the future of the brand and the utility of the brand with the community. And that project is really exciting because it exemplifies exactly that. We also moving from direct to consumer to direct to community, which is another major groundbreaking evolution, where in this picture you see a partnership between Gucci and 10KTF, where they basically Gucci launched a project directly and designed for the 10KTF community. So instead of looking at different consumers out there, they're going directly to the community, which is super exciting to look at. And then I play around with the concept that, Web3 stands for win-win-win. So how do we create within this new economy and mentality an economy where everybody wins, right? The brand wins, the community wins, the creator wins, and we find that sweet spot right in the middle where everybody involved in that relationship is being the reward for doing so. So super exciting, major trend that we're seeing as well on why this all makes also the metaverse more relevant. And then we talk about NFTs, right? We talk a lot about NFTs because it's a topic that, I'm really, really deep in, and I really think that there's a lot of potential, especially for brands there. So why do they matter? Right? For me, the simplest way I could put NFTs is that NFTs allow proof of digital and physical ownership on the blockchain, which is super exciting. And that offers three things apart from several others, but those are the core for me. The first one is traceability. You can look back to who has won what, or you can look back at proof of provenance. You can look back at where things are coming from. Really interesting aspect for luxury brands, or even for avoiding fake products or things like that. So we can use that technology to prove that someone that has issued that product is actually the one that has created. So think about like wine or art or luxury goods that now consumer can go back on the blockchain and see that project is original. Super interesting. Another one is immutability, meaning as soon as that's deployed on the chain, on the contract, things can barely or almost never change. So doing so, that creates an entire new trust system where, things going to remain the way they are forever. And then you see transparency, which is really exciting. So everybody can see everything, and anonymity plays a major role on top of that, right? We can see everything that's on chain, but we don't know who is behind it, because the only thing you need to create a digital wallet is a password. You don't need your name, you don't need a photo, you don't need an ID, you don't need anything. So transparency becomes really exciting because it's transparent for everyone, but then we bring privacy and data collection to a next level, which, you know, is where we aim to make Web3 better than what Web2 was. And so my time is coming up, and before I go, let me tell you a secret. All what we just seen goes way beyond than the JPEG. And to exemplify that, I want to play a video for you to leave you with that message, and hope that this helps you to understand more about this overall ecosystem that we are playing in right now.
When you look at this, or this, or this, what do you see? Do you see a fad, a scam, a useless JPEG, or do you see something more? Do you see a key unlocking the storefront of the future? Do you see a collision of art, entrepreneurship, and innovation? Do you see the new glue bridging creative communities together? We see supercharged entrepreneurs exploring the Wild West that is Web3. We see tokens granting holders exclusive access to limited edition drops and experiences. Digital sticks of dynamite exploding the definition of art, fashion, media, and the marketplace. This is the new frontier of fandom, commerce, and culture. Don't blink or you'll miss it.
Cool. So I hope that also gives you a little bit of thoughts or food for thought, that this whole thing goes way beyond than the JPEGs and what the mainstream media has been pushing around. My name is Diego Borgo. Thank you very much for having me. Again, if you want to connect, that's where you find me, and that's how I look like digitally. So whenever you see the alien with the pink background, hit me up. That's me. And yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Diego, before you leave us, you have mentioned a secret, and now I want to ask you another secret, perhaps. What are you going after this keynote to do? Are you go surfing, or what are you right up to in Portugal? Because when I think of Portugal, I'm thinking of surfing.
I wish. I'm going straight into another meeting. We keep preaching about Metaverse, NFTs, Web3, pushing it, because I think it's a lifetime opportunity right now for everyone. So I'm already late to the next one, so let's go.
Okay, so we don't lose any time. Thank you very much, Diego Borgo.